If we had but one lonely server, well, metrics and logs wouldn't be that difficult to deal with. We'd just hop into the server and take a look at them. However, our architecture has grown quite a bit. If we wanted to track these aspects of our application and instances, we'd have a lot of work to do. Doing it that way would be beyond a full-time job for multiple people. So when you get up to this level of scale, monitoring and logging becomes a primary focus. So aggregating logs, putting them into one place, and then watching them, among other things. And of course, it's not just the logs themselves, it's also the events that are happening in your architecture as well. Well, this is where centralizing your monitoring and logging into one place is critical. If you have a unified location to go and check this stuff out, well, catching errors and problems becomes exceptionally easier. And in AWS, the main service we'd use to get this done is AWS Cloudwatch. CloudWatch gives us the ability to set up alarms, pull in logs, and respond to events. Its entire purpose is to watch the cloud. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Cole, how does it track this stuff? That's a good question. The thing is this, though, and it's a pretty cool thing. The monitoring metrics, so for monitoring metrics around your infrastructure, this is largely built into most AWS resources for you. So for example, when you create an EC2 instance, sending events and metrics to CloudWatch is something it'll do by default. Same with load balancers and RDS databases. And so that's the fun part of it. If you're building with AWS resources, well, then CloudWatch is largely ready to go for you. And so in our architecture, we can use what are called CloudWatch Dashboards to set up graphs and visuals so that we can see all of this data in one nice place. We can choose to watch things like CPU levels of our servers, memory usage of our containers, active connections to our load balancers. I mean, the list really just goes on and on. Now, since we have these metrics in hand, well, we can actually take this further and automatically respond if those metrics go crazy. And that's where CloudWatch Alarms come into play. Now, to use these, you pick the metrics of interest, and then you set alarms that will go off if the metrics you're watching go beyond a certain level. And if this sounds like it's complicated, it really is as simple as just saying, oh, hey, give me that instance, watch its CPU, and if it goes above 50%, go crazy. I mean, it really is as simple as just clicking through a few things. Now, the fun part about CloudWatch Alarms is that we can set them up to respond to things. So for example, maybe we have an alarm that will sound off and send us a notification if all of our servers are using more than 80% of their CPU on average. Well, as you can imagine, that'd be super useful for knowing when you might want to go in and add some more instances and also waking you up at 3 a.m. when everything's on fire. Now, this solves a lot of issues for us, but we're still not dealing with logs. So the logs that our server, containers, and applications all create. Well, thankfully, CloudWatch also has logging that we can use as well. Now, unlike dashboards and alarms, these aren't ready to go right out of the box. You do have to install some tools on your EC2 instances that will let them send the logs to CloudWatch, but it's really not all that complicated. However, once we do have all of that set up, all the logs, so from all of our instances, containers, and applications, well, all their logs will go to CloudWatch. That means we can just log into the AWS console, go to the CloudWatch logs, and see what's happening from there. And obviously, this is far faster than trying to get these logs manually. Now, when you get centralized logging and monitoring set up, well, making decisions around your infrastructure is much more informed and far simpler. Since it takes running between instances individually and the like out of the picture, now you can focus on what's happening and what needs to happen. However, what if you don't always want to make the decisions? What if you'd rather make, say, the scaling process automatic? Is that possible? Absolutely. And that's what we're going to talk about next.